So if you've seen my stream, you know that I have quite a few popular channel point redeems on Twitch. The way that I do those, where somebody can just click Kevsplosion and I explode, is that I have a program called LioranBoard set up on my computer that will see that channel point get redeemed and then trigger an animation in OBS Studio. One thing that is kind of a barrier to beginner streamers using LioranBoard is the fact that it can be very overwhelming if you have never done any coding before. And in order to keep your channel point redeems, or if you're like me and run your alerts off of LioranBoard, all of your alerts from happening at once, you have to set up a queue system in order to keep everything going one at a time. And setting up that queue system can be extremely complicated. The new version of LioranBoard has fixed that, and I'm going to show you how to set that up very simply. I'm Wolverine Guy Kev, and this is Gen X Gaming. So before we get started, I just want to remind you that if you have liked this video, if it's helped you in any way, make sure you click like down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment, share, you know the drill. So this is the LioranBoard main screen here. You'll see that there's a bunch of options on the left. The grayed out ones are things that have already connected. So it's connected to my OBS, it's linked to my Twitch, and it's connected to Twitch. And those three are very important. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So you see over on the right side that I have a ton of these different decks. That's all the different things that I use. And some of these are just there for coding and logic to make the cool things work. All right. So what used to happen is you'd have this big complicated queue system with a one button that would be your trigger. Like it would look for something in OBS that would send it into a queue that would add a stack, send it into a queue. There's a million things in that queue, and then it spits that out to the actual action. And if you had a lot of things happening at once, it would break all the time. And if you've seen my stream, you've seen that happen quite a few times. What LioranBoard version 1.44 has done is added something called Group ID. So if you've seen my channel reward queue before, let me get down here. It used to have like the triggers were all on the top. There was one big button for the queue and then a bunch of buttons on the bottom. Now it looks like this. And those are all just buttons that look for a trigger and then just create the action. It's been made so much simpler. And this has been done through the use of group IDs. So you can go to any one of these buttons and go to edit Twitch triggers, number 1. Now, these are already set up. This one's called Get Me in the Mood. It sets up this little quasi-romantic scene and changes my voice and all of that. It does a ton of things. So it's looking for channel points. When you hit plus, you'll see this is everything that it can possibly look for. You want point redeem, and then it'll come up with this window where it says where I can type in whatever I want. You have to make sure that that is typed in exactly, caps and all, and if you've got any punctuation or anything like that, exactly how it is on Twitch, or it will not work. And then, very important, this little checkbox right here, add to request queue. What that check mark does is we'll look for this button to be completed before it presses that button again. All right, now that's great if you only have one thing that you don't want to happen over and over and over and over again all simultaneously, and you need it to wait out. But what if you have, like I have, like 11? That's where group ID comes in. So if you right click and you go down to group ID, now you see this says reward queue. It'll say none if you haven't entered one in, and you just enter in, like I have reward queue here, and then you can just go to every single one of these that you want to be queued, and it sets it up to where the request queue happens to every button that is in the reward queue that you check that box off of. And now these will all get queued at once in LioranBoard natively. It will not break. The only thing you have to do is to make sure that whatever action you have will last long enough to where it won't start up a new thing before you've got an animation complete. So if you say have a trigger that will bring out a minute-long video, what you have to do, you go into your commands and you set up, if you look right over here, this is called overtime. So in this box right here, the duration in milliseconds, set up the entirety of the length of your reward or whatever it is that you're doing, and then add like 3 seconds. So this particular reward is called Motivate Me, and it will pop up Shia LaBeouf, however you say his name, screaming "do it," and then it closes it. And that whole scenario takes 3 seconds, but I don't want them to happen boom, boom, boom. I want there to be a gap. So I've set overtime of 6 seconds. This starts counting down the instant the button is pressed. So if you don't set like, well, I've got 3 seconds here and I'm going to put 3 more seconds here. No, that will do absolutely nothing. So set your overtime for how long you want that button to last. And that'll be different with every single channel point. So for channel point 10, I've got to rename these. I don't even know what channel point 10 is. This is where you can snap a selfie. This is the reward called selfie. This whole process takes approximately 16 seconds. So I have this set to 19 seconds. There you go. And that will give it time for the whole thing to close down, then add 3 seconds in. And then you click done and done. So if you already use LioranBoard, this simplifies everything. If you're putting new stuff in, it is kind of a pain to go from your old queue system to this new system, but it's worth it because it will break far less than having a queue system where multiple things are happening and then the button itself might get pushed so many times that LioranBoard just stops working. And this has happened a lot to me. I'm sure it's happened a lot to other people. This simplifies everything. It does not break. If you're new to LioranBoard and you're looking to just try it, I highly recommend looking up an introduction tutorial video of how to use LioranBoard, because it can be very overwhelming looking at all that code. You saw some of the less complicated things that I have going on my stream just previously in this video. It can be, I've seen people make entire role-playing games based off of channel points in LioranBoard. It's amazing the stuff that you can do this on, but I don't have an intro to LioranBoard video yet. That will be coming sometime soon. Look for it here. And that's it, folks. This has changed the game and made things so much easier. These guys at LioranBoard, Christine and everybody, and Andy Lippy and Silverlink have all given us a lot of resources, not only in the development of LioranBoard, but how to use it, feature requests, and things to make it better. And so thank you to all of them. And again, if you've liked the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and share the video. And if you have any questions or anything, I always stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. In the morning for the coffee hour, 9 p.m. for the happy hour, and Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. at twitch.tv/WolverineGuyKev. I do a lot of just chatting. Feel free to come in and say, hey, can you explain this? Or, wow, it would have been so much easier if you had done it this way. Because believe me when I say this, I am not a LioranBoard guru. I just figure stuff out and I'm like, oh, this works for me. I would love to hear from you. Thanks again. Until next time, you stay safe, y'all.